We've got the Acura Integra Type S.
This should be fun. Oh, yeah.
It's always so fun, isn't it? Anything with a manual transmission, but this one in particular is special.
All right, what's under the hood of this thing, Andrea?
A 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an exclusive 6-speed manual transmission with rev matching, 320 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. This is a front-wheel drive model, and Acura recommends you put premium fuel in this.
All right, so the interesting thing is that Civic, the cousin to this, same platform and engine, is sold as a Civic Type R.
Yep.
This car, the Integra, was sold in the 90s as an Integra Type R. But they've swapped the names. Now this is, because we never got the Honda version, so this is now called Type S. Basically the same underpinnings with a totally different vibe. So Acura, what are the key standard features?
The Integra Type S comes with a 9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 10.2-inch digital driver display, wireless charger, a 5.3-inch head-up display, 12-way power driver seat lumbar support, a manual passenger seat, heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, perforated ultra suede and leatherette upholstery, and an ELS Studio 3D audio system.
All right, Andrew's already got it in sport. What else can we put it in?
Gotta put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Cup of Car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram to get great shots of Andrea at Motormouth_Andrea. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. So it was almost exactly a year ago, we had the regular Integra, which shares the same underpinnings and engine with the Civic Si. Yeah. This shares underpinnings with the Type R, and this, in my opinion, is what the Integra should be, because that car is only 200 horsepower. The base Integra is only 200 horsepower. Compared to vehicles like the GTI, it's kind of underpowered. Yeah. I think this is the way it should come.
Hey, look, I still like the Integra. I like all the heritage that's in with the Integra. I think that it is absolutely fantastic. This is even better. I'm a big fan in general of the nameplate. I think that this is a wonderful driving vehicle. For driving enthusiasts, you're going to like this as your daily driver because it's comfortable. The suspension is a little bit firmer, and the steering feels quite sharp, and the 6-speed manual is terrific.
This is what it should be. You know, I just think at 200 horsepower for a premium nameplate like Acura in the legendary Integra, all that stuff is true, Andrea. Yep. It is a legendary nameplate, but 200 horsepower is 40 horsepower behind the GTI and over 100 horsepower less than the Golf R. So this is really, in my, or you know what they should do for the base Integra? This engine, but detune it to like 275.
Yeah, sure, you could do that. This comes standard with limited slip differential. It's got an adaptive damping system. It has a Type S exhaust system. You've got 3 tailpipes in the back, but Zach, at least they're real.
Yeah, they're real, but they just look like trumpets. It's interesting because we're going to get into the design of this car. It's kind of like the grown-up version of the Type R, which is what I groove on the looks of it until you get to the back and it's like I think, I don't know. I guess they have to show everybody you spent the money, and that's where they're showing it.
Absolutely. But obviously they're keeping it like the Type R. The Type R is a bit of a boy racer.
Yeah, but it's not a Type R
kind of thing.
That's the whole thing.
It's not. This is the more mature and sophisticated sports car from Acura.
I like all of that. That part I'm down with. All right, Andrea, easy. There's cops up there. Not like really, there's cops
fuel,
up there.
I mean, my fuel economy isn't going to be very good, but I'm going to be having a ton of fun.
Okay, so on the outside, this thing is really nice looking because it has a wide body on it. Flare the fenders, then put a side skirt on it, more aero front and back. Yeah. It looks bulky, it looks just right, except at the back, I don't know. You guys right below, am I off base on this one. I just think it looks so muscular and polished, and then they put that in the back.
You know, this is 2.8 inches wider than the standard Integra. It gets 4 inches of ground clearance, which is about an inch less than the standard Integra as well. It comes standard with dual eye LED headlights, LED taillights. You've got black exterior accents and 19-inch wheels that are inspired by the NSX. It's got summer performance tires, and then you get a tire repair kit.
I think it looks great. I just think it's just so much fun. This is the Integra that should be sold, in my opinion.
Fabulous.
All right, then you turn your attention to the inside. Civic called. They want their interior back. I think that other than the plastic applique they put over the vents of the Civic, this is a Civic interior.
Yeah, it is. It's got the 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You've got a 10-inch digital driver display. Look, it's well organized. It does a lot well. I like the honeycomb accents. The biggest thing I hear when we drive an Acura or Honda model is, why do they all have to have the Civic interior? It works.
It's because it's good. Like when the Civic came out, the current generation Civic, we were blown away by the interior.
Blown away.
Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, which is what they've done.
And people beat up on Honda and Acura for doing this and using the same interior, but you see it with other brands as well. Hyundai, Kia, you see it with
BMW.
Lexus
BMW
and
does
Toyota, BMW.
All right, so a couple of things that are missing. No sunroof. Now, Acura will say, that's for torsional rigidity and to save weight. Well, if you're not putting a sunroof in, could you put matching seats in the back instead of the red vinyl from the 70s?
Totally. I'm going to have to go with a black interior if I buy this, because I cannot sit back there. It does something to my brain, that straight up red back there.
It's horrible. It's vinyl. Like, it's just... It could be leather, but it looks like vinyl.
No, it isn't. It's leatherette.
Okay, it's vinyl. And then the other thing is there's no adjustments on the seat up or down for the passenger, and it's a manual seat back. It's like you're selling this car in Canada basically $60K. You could throw in a few Acura niceties.
Hey, it gets worse. There's no driver's seat memory. There's no ventilated front seats. There's no heated rear seats. So you're missing a lot of features for almost $60,000 in Canada and just over $50,000 in the US. That's $8,000 more Canadian than the Type R and $7,000 more in the US.
These numbers mean nothing, Andrea. You know why? Because you're not going to be able to get this car for MSRP. The dealers are going to be dealers, and you know what dealers do? They're going to mark this up. You can't get a Type R. Okay, I'll go to Acura. I can get a Type S. Sure you can. It's just going to be 20 over less. And that's what we're seeing with Golf R. That's what we're seeing with GTI. That's what we're seeing with anything that's fun and has a manual transmission. You just can't get these cars. So all of the numbers about the pricing is fantasy land, to be honest with you. You know what I like, Andrea?
What do you
I like getting it for a week for free.
Yeah, well, what I do believe is that this Integra, if you can get your hands on a Type S, this is going to be worth a bomb in the future, because you're not going to be able to get a manual transmission anymore as we go to full-on electrification.
You spoiled my teaser, Andrea. We're going to talk about it in Questions, Coffee, and Cars a little bit more.
You got some great questions coming up.
All right. So we usually do the trims right now. It comes one package. That's all you get. It's the one we're in now. And when you get in the back seat, you'll notice that they've deleted the middle seat. Why, I don't know. The regular Integra has that ability. But with this car, they've taken it out. They've got a hard plastic cup holder in the middle, so it's just 2 seats in the back. There is no armrest. Legroom is pretty good. Headroom's not bad. The recline of the seat is at a pretty good angle, so taller people can fit back here.
Comparing the Integra to other competitors like the WRX, the Integra has 42.3 inches of front row legroom, which is just under an inch less than the Subaru. Second row legroom is better than the WRX at 37.4 inches. You get about an inch more than the Subaru.
This has a lift gate at the back. It's not power operated, and you have a lot of space back there with a very deep cargo well underneath. Oh, there's no spare tire, which you would kind of hope for in a performance car, just a tire repair kit.
Best in class trunk space at 24.3 cubic feet. It is almost double the amount of the WRX.
Do you think there's a question about the Type R?
I think so.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Any thoughts on why Acura hasn't introduced the performance hybrid technology from the NSX to their lower tier vehicles? I find this would be a huge benefit for them, considering their competitor Lexus has gone this direction already.
Well, they had the performance hybrid in the MDX. And it sold like a steaming hot turd, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean they could have modified the technology and so on. But what's the future look like for Acura, Andrea?
Yeah, it's going straight to EVs. It's like Genesis. There are going to be no hybrids or plug-in hybrids. Interestingly enough, if Acura had just waited maybe another year and a half to 2 years with that MDX hybrid, it would have sold like hotcakes.
Oh, yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, because of the high fuel prices. Yeah. All right.
Honda, though, you'll be able to get hybrids.
In the Accord.
And maybe a plug-in hybrid one day. I don't know about that.
And by the way, the Accord hybrid is excellent. It's not this,
No.
but it's excellent.
Is this a real upgrade from a Type R Civic, or is it just the Acura name? Looks better, though.
It's basically the same car with a few tweaks.
It's the same. I mean, I think that the interior is a little bit nicer. The thing about the Type R is it's a real boy racer type sports car. I prefer the look of this. It's just not as aggressive. We haven't driven the Type R, but from the reviews that I have watched or read, they even say that the seats in the Type R are firmer. It's just, I think just a more aggressive vehicle.
I drove the previous generation Type R, and the video was all about it being a great daily driver. Very comfortable. Actually, like this, you could use it every single day. However, it's coming up in our hot topic is how this car really just kind of flies under the radar and makes it exceptional as a daily, except for the trumpets out the back.
How does this compare to the Audi S3 or the BMW M235i? Which of the three would you choose? That's the
answer. The one car I would love that we got in Canada, Andrea, is one up from the S3, which is the RS3, which is sold in America, not sold in Canada because of some emissions regulations. It was supposed to come. Now that was the car, but everybody's running away from manuals.
I know you can't get it in these German brands. Only Porsche is making a manual transmission, and then they've got that terrific PDK, so I wonder how long the manual will last. But also all-wheel drive. I mean, you can get the S3. It's an all-wheel drive option as well as the BMW. However, in Canada, the Grand Coupe is no longer available. So you're only looking at a two-door vehicle with the 2 Series. So I don't know if that's going to work for people. This has got best-in-class second-row legroom and trunk space. So you can see how this would be a wonderful daily driver.
Actually, that 2 Series Grand Coupe was excellent as a daily driver. It was fun. It was tossable. It wasn't pure to what BMW was because it just shared mini platform, but a hell of a fun car, and I'm surprised it's gone.
I'm actually a little bit perplexed as to what this goes up against. It's quite unique in its own way. I mean, you could say
the Honda. That's what it goes up against.
Yeah, against the Type R. And I mean, you could throw in the WRX and you can throw in the S3, and the Grand Coupe is still available in the US, but no manual.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Such an amazing car. Probably will make a reasonable weekend sports car that can perform family errands when needed.
So this is, in my opinion, the way that the Integra should be as a premium brand, offer it with more horsepower. The thing is, Andrea, it doesn't have the looks, as we mentioned, of the Civic Type R, and I think it speaks to a more mature buyer, and you could easily live with this every day. The problem is it's competing on horsepower and price because the Golf R is cheaper with an all-wheel drive competitor. It really doesn't have any competition.
No, and like we said, you can compare it to so many different vehicles, luxury versus non-luxury, but it is very unique. And you are bang on with your comment about meeting your family's daily needs, because this is a spacious vehicle. The only thing I'm disappointed in is why make it a 4-passenger?
I know.
Why didn't you make it a 5-passenger vehicle? This is the sophisticated take on the Type R. We want 5-passenger,
Yeah, so
because that extra seat makes a big difference.
Yeah, if you're going to take an extra kid somewhere, you want to put them in the trunk on the roof?
That's it.
I mean, it's just so silly.
In the roof.
Well, you can't have a roof rack. But I just don't understand it. Like, I mean, like you're building a car for a different buyer.
Yeah.
Not the young 30-year-old boy racer type. It's the guy that can afford this car and still likes to have some fun, but has to do family duty. This isn't doing it with no armrest or seat in the back. All right, so let's get into the official pricing, the fuel economy, and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. There's just one trim. In Canada, it starts just over $58,000, and in the US, just under $51,000.
Here's the fuel economy: 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.3 on the highway. That's 21 miles per gallon in the city, 28 miles per gallon on the highway. The warranty is 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, or 50,000 miles. So we talked about this. And we talked about this. What cars does this compete against? So we've come up with 4. These are our 4.
Add yours if you like, if you don't like ours.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Honda Civic Type R with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 315 horsepower, and a starting price just under $52,000.
The Volkswagen Golf R with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 315 horsepower, at a starting price just over 51 grand.
The Subaru WRX with a turbocharged 2.4-liter flat 4 engine, 271 horsepower, and a starting price just under $35,000.
What a steal, what a steal. The Audi S3 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 306 horsepower, and a starting price just over $54,000.
So there are 4 fun cars for you to consider.
Lightning round: 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
Love the way this handles.
I think it looks pretty cool. Except for, I'm going to do mine first.
What I'd like to see is either give me an armrest back there or make this a 5-passenger vehicle on the next refresh. Can you do that? Acura, you nailed it performance-wise. I'd be happy with this as my daily driver.
Love everything about it, except the price.